right, which is titled as Knowledge of the Absolute. Okay. Before we begin, two things. One is I would want one child to tell me what is the key take home of yesterday, and then one child to lead us in prayers. Okay. So who would want to say the prayers? I believe Siddhant, I've got your name noted down. Are you here? Yesterday you wanted to participate. I'm sorry I couldn't give you a chance yesterday. So if you're here, 1 minute. Siddhant, are you there? Mataji, if he's there, please unmute him. And today we have a lot of question answers, okay? So all of y'all will get a chance. So don't worry.
Siddhant is unmuted.
Today we're going to have a lot of interaction. Siddhant is there, Mataji?
Yeah, I've unmuted him.
Okay, Siddhant, would you want to lead us in prayers? You'll be unmuted. And then you can tell me, yesterday you had raised your hand. You're unmuted, please. Go ahead and tell me.
He's lost network, I guess. He'll come back.
Okay. And I'll also request other kids to please put on your camera so we can see you. It's always better. Plus, I also know if you're awake or sleeping. Yeah? All right.
Mokshada wanted to say a prayer.
Okay, then we'll give Mokshada a chance. We'll give Siddhant a chance tomorrow. Not a problem. Mokshada, I think she said the prayers yesterday or day before. Mokshada, did you lead us in prayers earlier?
Unmuted, Mokshada.
Mokshada, go ahead. Put on your camera. Mokshada. Okay. In the meantime, we'll at least have yesterday's recap. Now, Tanishka, I have unmuted you. You can just give me a quick one-line recap for yesterday, the key take home.
The yesterday's key take home was we should chant and control our mind and not make it like a monkey searching for another types of banana.
Right. Very well said.
And we should chant and be happy.
Perfect, perfect. And we also learned about chanting and the key importance, the do's of chanting, right? Okay, perfect, great. That was the key take home yesterday, right? And today we're going to do the knowledge of the absolute. So can we have Siddhant or Mokshada lead us in prayers? If not, then we'll give someone else a chance, Mataji. I cannot see everyone on screen, so could you guide me?
Yes.
Who's that?
Mokshada.
Mokshada, is that you?
No, it's Mishika.
Mishika. Okay. Mishika, you want to lead us in prayers today?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead. Loudly, okay? And slowly so that everyone. So all kids, Mishika is leading us. Put your hands together and Mishika, please. Thank you.
Om Gyatiminantasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsya Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagara Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Laita Shri Vishakavitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namustate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusate Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhesha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschapta Deshadarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta
Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Thank you so much, Vishika. Thank you so very much. All right, kids. So chapter 7 is knowledge of the absolute. Now, the best thing about it is, you know what? It's the knowledge of the absolute told by the absolute. The Lord himself gives knowledge about himself, right? Now, we've heard this earlier that our senses are not perfect, right? Now, do you see something on your screen? Right? What is it? It's actually an half-eaten apple. But if we see the reflection in the mirror, it seems to be a full apple. So if someone has seen only the reflection, he will think it's a full apple, but actually it is a half-eaten apple. So essentially, our senses are not perfect. Okay, they are subject to illusion, right? And that's the reason better than seeing is hearing. Okay, if we hear correctly and if we hear from the right sources, what essentially happens is we develop firm faith. That is what is needed. But for that, we have to hear from the expert. That is critical. If we don't hear from the right sources, then definitely the knowledge that we're going to get in is battered, or it's not the right way. And that's the reason we've learned about the Guru Shishya Parampara also. But here, we have Krishna talking about himself. Why? Because he is talking to his pure devotee who absolutely trusts him, loves him, and has surrendered to him. That's the reason Krishna is talking to Arjuna. Okay, now what does Krishna say? Now, he begins by saying, I shall now declare unto you in full this knowledge, both phenomenal and numinous. This being known, nothing further shall remain to be known. Okay. Now, Krishna is saying, I'm going to give you this knowledge, knowing that you will not need to know anything more. Now, there are two types of knowledge specified over here. All right. Phenomenal and numinous. So basically, what it means is, don't go by the words, don't get confused. I'll explain simply to you. It means okay, now there is something known as we see things as they are. Okay, that is one kind of knowledge. We see things as they are. Like, this is my hand. Okay, this is one kind of a knowledge. Okay, but there is something which I cannot see. For example, if my hand is in pain and I see the hand, it doesn't show any signs. That is half knowledge, or that's superfluous knowledge. Actually, underneath my hand are the blood vessels, the veins, which I cannot see. Right? So if I see the hand, it's fine. But actually my hand is in pain. That's because inside there could be some muscle or a blood clot or something, which is not visible to the naked eye. Right? So one is knowledge as it is actually seeing, and the other is being conscious of what it is made of, or you can say the material thing behind it. To give you another example, we see the object. Okay. The second is what this object is made up of. What is it made up of? As I told you, it's made up of inside I've got muscle, I've got nerves, I've got blood cells, etc. So that's the second kind of knowledge. Now the third thing is what is actually moving this hand. All right. So there are three layers of knowledge. Knowledge has these three levels. So Krishna is saying, I will give you all knowledge required today. And after you know this, there'll be nothing left to be known. That's what Krishna is telling. Okay, let's go further as to what he says. Krishna says that out of thousands of men who may endeavor for perfection, right, hardly one knows me in truth. That means many people try to know him through various ways. The four ladders that we spoke about, right? Karma, Gyan, etc., and Bhakti. So many people try, but out of that, only one person can actually know the truth. Now, to give you an example, is you may have all experienced the marathon, the Stand Chart Marathon, which happens 26 Jan in Mumbai. For people who are from Mumbai, they can associate, and others will also have seen in other places around the world. So what typically happens in a marathon? When the marathon begins, there are like thousands and thousands and thousands of people, right? Everyone is all charged up and wearing their gears and all set and waving out like, but finally, when the marathon gets over, right? How many reach that finish line? Reaching first is one thing, but then any which way, very few people reach that finish line. That's the parallel that I'm giving you from the material world. Krishna is exactly saying that. From the thousands and thousands of people who try to know the truth, only one knows me. Okay, that means it's very difficult to know Krishna. And thankfully for us, through Arjun, he has told about himself and we will learn. All right. And as I was telling you, that hearing is the right medium and the perfect person to hear it is a guru. Who's a guru? He's someone who's seen and experienced the truth, right? And if we have the right guru and we follow the regulative principles which are given by the guru, like Srila Prabhupada has given us 4 regulative principles, right? That's basically no intoxication. Intoxication is basically any kind of thing which makes you lose your senses. Cigarettes, alcohol, terrible. Just always stay away from them. You kids are young. As you all grow, you all will see people around you doing all this. Stay away. Okay, that's the first regulative principle. No gambling. That means, in the Mahabharata, gamble happened. Now, there's another entire different reason why Yudhishthira gambled. That's another story. But typically, if you see from the Mahabharata, we learned that gambling is bad, and sometimes even someone like Yudhishthira can land up doing it. Okay, so we have to stay away from gambling. No meat eating. Why? Because how can our body be a graveyard? So dead animals or dead living beings, where do they go? They go in the graveyard. When we die, crematorium or graveyard is where you go. Now, a dead animal is going inside your body. So what is going to happen? Your body is supposed to be pious and generate good vibes, right? And if you make it like a graveyard and you have meat, that is degrading your consciousness. And that is not right for spiritual growth. Okay. So no meat eating, no intoxication, no gambling, no meat eating, and no having the wrong relationships in life. Okay. As you grow, you will intermingle with a lot of friends. So you have to make sure that your relationships are always right. Okay. So hear the right thing from a guru. And in our case, in the case of ISKCON, Srila Prabhupada has written numerous books explaining this spiritual science, and we just have to follow the path. But to follow the path, we have to be pure. And the very basic thing that has been asked by Srila Prabhupada is to maintain the 4 regulative principles. Okay. Now imagine people who were born abroad, who became disciples of Srila Prabhupada. They used to always smoke, drink, have meat. Those people left it. Now, if they can leave all that, for Indians, it's relatively easier because most of us, if not all, generally are born in families where non-veg is virtually no. Some places there is egg, but now there are eggless cakes and all also available. So it's not there. Your taste buds, Krishna gives prasad, the best possible prasad. Yeah, if you've seen the feast that happens when there are festivals in the temple, oh my God, it's amazing. So for them, meat eating was so natural, but they gave it up. So for us, it's much more simpler. We have to just follow that. Okay. Now Krishna is describing himself. Okay. This entire chapter, Krishna talks about himself. All right. So what does he say? He says earth, water, fire, air, ether. These are the 5 basic elements. And then there is mind, intelligence, and false ego. That's the gross body, subtle body. All together, these 8 constitute my separate material energies. Okay, these are his material energies. So our body is made up of these 8. I said the gross body 5, and then the subtle body, which is mind, intelligence, and false ego. And then inside that is something which is not material, which is the soul, which is the energy which makes this entire material body work, right? So all these Krishna is saying are my material energies. Now, and it's not only material, but everything spiritual also comes from him. So that's what he says in the next verse. Of all that is material, and all that is spiritual in this world, that is spiritual being, that's us, know for certain that I am both its origin and dissolution. That means we come from him, or in fact, everything material comes from him. So, for example, whatever we see around, okay, whatever you see around, typically, is material. It could be a house, it could be a building, but all the ingredients to make that, like bricks, come from mud. Okay, now all the cement, steel, all that is typically done. The steel, you have to go iron. All that is got from Mother Earth. So whatever we see that is material is made by man, but the ingredients come from Mother Nature. So Krishna says he is the origin of both material and spiritual. And then he further explains it. He says, O conqueror of wealth, Arjuna, there is no truth superior to me. Everything rests upon me as pearls are strung on a thread. Now, you all have all seen a necklace, typically a pearl necklace, right? You'll all see the pearls are together, right? But can anyone see how are the pearls together? In the chat boxes, quickly. How do you see all the pearls together on a necklace? Are they stuck together? Are they stuck together? Quickly in the chat boxes. Tanishka says, no, they are not stuck together. Gaurav Garg is saying, yes, they are with a thread. So basically, there's a thread which is not visible to the naked eye. Our eyes don't see that thread. But the very fact that all the pearls are perfectly kept together means there is a thread behind it. Similarly, this entire creation that you see is running perfectly, right? The sun rises at its time, sets at a particular time, moon goes accordingly, the seasons change perfectly. कुछ भी कभी गड़बड़ नहीं है. All right? Suddenly it doesn't happen कि sun says, अरे यार आज मेरा मूड नहीं है, 4 घंटे के बाद मैं नीचे जाऊंगा. ऐसा नहीं होता है ना, right? Or suddenly summers say, no, yeah, this season I'm not enjoying summers. I'll suddenly change it to winters. No, after summers it's going to be monsoon, then autumn, then winter. So everything is in order, but we cannot see the controller. And that's exactly what Krishna is saying. Just like you cannot see the thread which hold the pearl necklace, similarly, everything rests upon me just the same way. That means he is the thread holding everything in this material creation together. Okay? Moving on further, what does Krishna say? So, the key, again, we are reinforcing this thing which we've already learned earlier. I'm just reinforcing this point that Krishna is the Supreme Lord. He is a person, but the Supreme Person, and there's no one superior to him. And we've seen so many references for that, which is Bhagavad Gita, Krishna saying it himself, Srimad Bhagavad, it is said. And remember, I had told you the first verse of Brahma Samhita, where Lord Brahma glorifies the Lord. Okay, now in the coming few verses, Krishna is going to talk about how he is prevalent, or how do you see him all around. Okay, now who's going to read this for me? Okay, Mataji, you can just unmute and take the name. Vibhu has raised his hand, so let's start with Vibhu, then Mrunmai. Vibhu and then Mrunmai. There are a couple of verses to be read, so Vibhu first.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes, go ahead, Vibhu.
O Santi of Kunti,
O
O
son
son
of
of
Kunti.
O son
Yes.
of Kunti, I am the taste of water, the light of the sun and the moon,
Yes.
the syllable Om
Yeah.
in the Vedic mantras. I am the sound in either and ability in the in man.
In man. Okay, now as I told you in these verses, what Krishna is doing, Krishna is talking about himself. All right. So this is one such verse where Krishna is explaining. Thank you so much, Vibhu. Now we'll go to the next verse. Mrunmai. Please go ahead, Mrunmai, and read this one.
Unmuted, Mrunmai.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes, please go ahead, dear.
I am the original fragrance of the earth and I am the heat in fire. I am the life of all that lives, and I am the penitence of all ascetic.
Correct. So Krishna is again describing himself, how he's present in the earth as fragrance, the heat and fire, right? And the life of everything that lives. So in these verses, typically he's talking about how he's the taste of water, the light of the moon and sun, the om of the Vedic mantra, and the heat of the fire, and so on and so forth. This is the explanation that Krishna is giving about himself. Okay. Now, further down, what does he say? He says, this divine energy of mine, consisting of the three modes of material nature. Remember the three modes that we spoke about? Goodness, passion, ignorance. So that's what Krishna is saying, that that is also an energy of his, which is difficult to overcome. And we know that. But over here, Krishna is expanding and saying, but those who have surrendered unto me can easily cross beyond it. Right? So earlier also Krishna has mentioned that I control everything through these modes. All living beings are under these three modes of material nature: goodness, passion, and ignorance. But those who have surrendered can cross this. So if we compare this material world to be like an ocean, and if we have to cross that ocean, surrender is something that can get us that. All right. And that's exactly what is represented in the picture also next to it. Do you see one soul in an ocean and getting the rescue of the Lord? And Garuda, Lord always moves on the Garuda. That's what the pictorial representation is, that if you surrender unto him, you will be able to cross what is extremely difficult to do so. Now, then Krishna goes on to say further that there are four kinds of people who typically come to me, right? And now if you look around, right, you will find these four kind of people only going to Krishna. Okay, now who are these four kind? He says, one, who are distressed. Most common. Yeah, most of you all would have also noticed this. Kabhi kisi ko koi problem hai, hey Bhagwan mujhe bacha lo. Even us, right? Exams mein kuch aata nahi, hey Bhagwan mujhe bacha lo. Right? Abhi corona ka time hai, everyone, what's everyone doing? Oh Bhagwan bacha lo kaise bhi karke. So if you're distressed, the first thing that you think about is God. That's when you remember God. Otherwise, we are so busy that we just forget God. Okay? Now, I'll tell you a very interesting thing that comes to my mind. Sant Kabir, if you all have heard of him, he's written some beautiful dohas. He also had this beautiful doha that he said is that Dukh mein sumiran sab kare. Dukh mein sumiran sab kare. Sukh mein kare na koi. Jo sukh mein sumiran kare, dukh kahe ko hoye. Right? So basically, if we remember the Lord when we're happy, there's no reason for us to be distressed. But that's not the case with the world, unfortunately. So the first category and the majority of people who go to him are the ones who are distressed. And the second who go to him are desirers of wealth. Now, this is also a very common sign, right? You would see majority of the temples. In fact, Tripti Balaji also, most people go with the objective of barter. God, I'm giving this. Please, iska 10 guna karke meko de dena. As if, God is there only to do that for you. But that's the relationship they have. So when they're desirous of wealth and opulence and material things to enjoy, typically they will end up going to God in whichever form, right? Then there are people who are inquisitive. That means they want to know, those questions they're very wanting to know how, that knowledge is what is their desire, right? Ye kaise ho raha hai? How is everything so perfect? How is this running? How that knowledge is what they're seeking. So they're very inquisitive. And then the last category is one who are even above that, who are searching for that true knowledge. Okay, so these are the four categories of people who typically go to the Lord. Now there are some examples, and today we'll do one beautiful story of one such later on devotee, but when he initially went, he wasn't a devotee. So these are various stories given in our Shastras of the 4 category of people who went to him. Like Gajendra, the elephant that you see, the first top left picture is a beautiful story in the Srimad Bhagavatam of Gajendra, an elephant who was in the clutches of a crocodile. For I can't go into the detail, but I'm just giving you a brief of it, for a very long time, and how finally his consciousness, God gave him that realization, and he offered a lotus from the lake where he was stuck, and he asked Lord to help him. So he was distressed. Draupadi, we know, right? She tried everything possible. Her husbands who could not help her, then all the seniors, Bhishma, Dhritarashtra, who were there in the hall where she was getting disrobed, she went to everyone. No one could help her. Finally, she surrendered and raised her hand, and that's when the Lord can take any form, right? So he came in the form of a sari, and he saved Draupadi. So she was also distressed, right? Then Sugriv came, perfect. Matlab, he wanted that barter. I am helping you, you help me. So he went with that intention, all right? And so there are then Dhruva Maharaj. Now he went for wealth. Now Dhruva Maharaj's story goes like this, that now we'll do that story in depth. So we'll start that story now in depth, okay? Now Dhruva Maharaj typically went to the Lord for wealth because he wanted a kingdom which was bigger than even his great-grandfather Brahma. Now the story which is there in our Shastras, the Srimad Bhagavatam, goes like this. Dhruva had a stepson, a stepbrother, I'm sorry. All right. So one day his stepbrother was in the lap of his father, and Dhruv was elder to him. He was about 4 or 5 years old, and the younger brother must have been about a year or two. So naturally, the father was sitting with the younger son, and he also, seeing that, wanted to go and he sit on the lap of his father. So he went and he sat on the lap. Now his father had 2 wives, right? So his mother was not the favorite, unfortunately. His younger brother's mother was the favorite wife. So the other wife comes and says, "How dare you sit on the king's lap? It's only meant for my son, and you cannot sit on his lap." And then Dhruv was forced to come down, and he was just 5 years old, right? And he was very baffled that why can't, he's my father, why can't I sit on his son, on his lap? And then he asked his stepmother. She said, "No, you're not qualified to. If you want to sit on his lap, you have to be born from my womb, all right? And only my son will be the king." So basically the mother's intention was, if you sit on the lap of your father, tomorrow you may want to sit on the throne, but no, this throne belongs to my son. And the father, the king, who was the king, but because he was, you can say, over attached to his wife, and he was completely ruled by her. So he didn't say anything to his little son. And this little son, Dhruva, 5-year-old, right, was shattered. And he was crying, and he went to his mother and he said, "Mother, this is the thing. I was sitting on my father's lap and I was asked to get down and go. And, I was told by Choti Ma that this is, you have to be born from my womb. What is this? Why is this?" And then his mother also started crying. And she said, but the one good advice that the mother, his real mother, gave him is, she said, "Your Choti Ma has said the truth, that to sit on your father's lap, you have to be born from her womb, because he loves her more than me. And for that, you will need to go and pray to Lord Narayan." Now the 5-year-old heard that. He said, "Where can I find Lord Narayan?" He said, "No, you'll have to go if you want. But Lord Narayan will definitely help you." So he said, "Okay." And so he said, "Fine, I'll go and pray to Lord Narayan." 5-year-old. Huh? And he said, "I'll go and pray." And he went towards the forest. And when he went on the way, now Narad Muni got to know that this is what has happened. And Narad Muni is who? He's someone who always glorifies the Lord and is always very compassionate and very helpful, to connect anyone and everyone to the Lord. So, but just he wanted to test the 5-year-old. Now, 5-year-olds, like how many of you all have that strong determination? Like even strong determination means you say, I won't say have junk for so many days. How many of y'all can maintain it? So difficult to maintain a basic thing like eating. So imagine going and doing penance in the forest. It's not simple, right? So Narad Muni wanted to test this little child that is he really serious? Right? He said he's going to go and pray to the Lord. Is he really serious? Is he going to do that? So Narad Muni went, and as he was going to the forest, he said, "Oh, little boy, what are you doing here? You know, you should be in your kingdom. You're the son of Uttanapad. What are you doing here?" And he said, "No, I'm here to find Lord Narayan. I have something to ask from him." Now, what was the intention he went with? He was very angry, Dhruv, when he went, right? Because he was uh, wanting to be with his father, but he was not allowed to, and he was actually insulted. Okay, for a 5-year-old also, that we all have that ego, like it or not, right? And I've given you all so many examples, and you all would have also experienced. You're say 10-year-old or 12-year-olds, 13-year-olds, but you all have that ego, right? If your parents also, your parents who have the right to scream at you or at least scold you for something, even when they scold you, you get angry. No, no, I'm not talking to you. No, no, go away. You know, that happens, right? That is the ego saying that. So here he was genuinely insulted. So he had that anger, you can say, and that burning thing in him. So he told Narad Muni, now, Narad Muni, I am going to be praying to Lord Narayan, and can you guide me how to do that? And then what Narad Muni was testing him. So he said, look, you're a 5-year-old, forget it. It's just your mother. Go and just, go back to your home. You cannot stay in the forest. And Narad Muni kept telling him like this, that it's not easy for you to do it. And this little 5-year-old boy tells tells Narad Muni, look, Narad Muni, if you can help me, it's fine. Then you guide me. If you cannot help me, please go away. Let me do my work. Imagine a 5-year-old telling Narad Muni this. And then Narad Muni understood, nahi boss, ये छोटा सा बच्चा है, लेकिन serious है. All right. So Narad Muni told him, okay, if you're very serious, I'm going to give you this mantra. And he gave him a particular mantra. He said, you have to chant this particular mantra for whatever amount of time. Okay. And 101% you will have the blessings of the Lord. And with that, he blessed him and he gave him a particular mantra and he moved. So this 5-year-old in the forest, all alone, started his meditation. Now, obviously in the forest, you just survive on shrubs, fruits, whatever little is available. So he survived on that. But as the time progressed, he made his penance even tougher, right? For the first month, he only ate fruits. For the second month, he only survived on water. For the third month, he would drink water, but only once in a week. And like that, his penance kept going up and up and up. He made it more and more stringent. And then finally, he was standing on one foot, meditating, continuously chanting the names of the Lord. Finally, after a couple of months, Lord Narayan was so pleased that he actually gave him darshan. Now, how that happened is that when he was in deep meditation, he was meditating upon a form of the Lord, right? And suddenly in his mind, when you're meditating, if that it disappears, and suddenly it's blank, then your eyes open. That's exactly what happened. So Dhruv Maharaj was meditating, and suddenly it just vanished. The Lord vanished, and he opened his eyes, and he was surprised and pleased to see Lord right there in front of him. And then the Lord spoke to him, and at that time, when he finally saw the Lord, he was so happy. And just tears started rolling down his eyes, and he was extremely happy. And the Lord understood. Lord knows everything. He's the Paramatma in our heart. He knows the reason. But still he asked Dhruv Maharaj that why, what do you want from me? You tell me. Then Dhruv Maharaj at that time realizes, the Lord is so beautiful. Just seeing the Lord, meditating upon his form, that itself is enough. You will forget everything else. So that's exactly what happened to Dhruv Maharaj. He said, he didn't ask for anything. He said, my Lord, I am just seeing you and that's enough for me. But the Lord knows what is there in the heart. And he completely understood that. He says, no, you ask me, I know what you want. And Dhruv Maharaj said, no, I don't want anything. I'm so glad just to see you. But then the Lord blesses him. And the Lord says, you know what? You wanted a kingdom which is better and bigger than your great grandfather Brahma. I will give you that. And the Lord gave him a separate planet of his own that is called Dhruv Tara, or the pole star as we know it today. Dhruv Tara. Now the USP or the speciality of that is that never, so as I told you, there are cycles, right? And then all the yugas come in, and then at the end of Lord Brahma's life, that there is dissolution, and then again the cycles start again. So this particular planet, which belongs to which belongs to Dhruva now, was given by the Lord, which will never ever get in that cycle of dissolution. It is permanent. That is what the Lord blessed him with. And of course, ample opulence. He said, you will live like a king. And then he was blessed. And then Dhruv Maharaj ruled as a king. He went back and Uttarampad apologized. And then there was a longer story. I've given you a very cut short story. But essentially what I wanted to tell you or explain through the story is how surrender is critical. Okay. Now, when you surrender, that's when you get everything. Now, moving further, in what Krishna says in this chapter, he says, will someone read this out for me? Riyan Patel. Yes.
After many births and deaths, he who is actually in knowledge surrenders unto me, knowing me to be the cause of all causes and all that is. Such a great soul is very rare.
Yes. So we just heard about Dhruv Maharaj and how he surrendered, and then he got more than what he wanted. But that realization, to come to that realization, takes us many births. So if you see in the picture, you know how that one soul is going through so many births till he finally recognizes, right? So many births we take, and only then we get that knowledge of surrender. Now I'll give you one more story of the gopis of Vrindavan. Now kids, the gopis of Vrindavan are the epitome of surrender. You know what I mean by epitome? Like there is no one who is higher than them in surrender. Okay, not even the wives of Lord Krishna while he played the Leela, not even the wives, not even any of the other devotees mentioned. Gopis are the epitome of surrender. That means what surrender they can do, no one else can do. I'll give you one beautiful story which comes to my mind, is that Narad Muni only once he was asking the Lord that why is it that the gopis are the highest in surrender, why not the others? What is there in the love of the gopis that and not your wives, why not Rukmani, why not Satyabhama, why not them? So then the Lord just smiled and he says, okay, Narad Muni, why don't you do one thing? You want to know? You do one thing. You go to my wives, that's Satyabhama and Rukmani and all of them, and you tell them, I'm having a headache. And the only cure for this headache is they have to give me the dust of their feet. Okay, if you give me the dust of their feet, that can be applied like a balm on my head, and that headache will be cured. Okay, you go to my wives, and then you go to the gopis, and then you tell me what happens. So he goes to the wives first, and he says, you know what, Krishna is not well today. He's having a headache. Narad Muni goes to them and says, so he's asked for the dust of your lotus feet. He says, if my pure devotees, they give me the dust of their lotus feet, his headache will be fine. Now all the wives are like, oh my God, no, how can we do this? How can we give the dust of our feet to our Lord? He's our supreme master. It's the biggest sin if we do that. We'll go to the hellish planets, this, that, and they say, no, we can't do that. And then Narad Muni says, okay, fine. And then he goes to the gopis of Vrindavan. And the gopis of Vrindavan. So this pastime happens when Lord Krishna is not in Vrindavan, he's come to Dwarka. And the gopis are in separation from Krishna for such a long time. So when Narad Muni tells the gopis that, and gopis are, though they are separate from Krishna, they are always thinking about him. So they are either remembering him, singing his glories, basically all the activities that we spoke about yesterday, how we have to remember the Lord. Either serve the Lord, remember the Lord, offer food to the Lord, sing for the Lord, dance for the Lord. So they are always doing that only. So Narad Muni goes and he says that Krishna is having a headache in Dwarka. And, he says that he needs the dust of the lotus feet of his devotees, someone who loves him very dearly. And only then will his headache go. And the gopis say, really, Krishna is having a headache? Oh, you take the dust, and then all of them, they clean their feet and they give the dust of their feet. And Narad Muni says, what are you doing? If you give the dust of your feet to be applied as a balm on Krishna's head, it's like the greatest sin. You will have to go to the hellish planets. And you know what the gopis answer? The gopis say that if the dust of our lotus feet can help Krishna and relieve his headache even for a few moments, we are willing to suffer in hell. But Krishna should not have a headache. So Narad Muni, when he hears that, he understands the extent or the epitome of love, surrender that they have for Krishna. So that is what we're talking about. And that is the reason Krishna says that such a soul is very rare. Now, why are we taking these examples? To know that how you have to love Krishna in such a way that it is not selfish love, right? And when you're surrendering to him also, it is not selfish surrender. So when Krishna is talking about himself, he's giving so much of knowledge about himself. It is for this reason, so that we develop that surrender. So what is the use of gaining the knowledge of the Absolute? Right? The knowledge is needed so that we understand his greatness, and Krishna has explained how he's present in the fire, in the fragrance of the earth, in all of that. And then how a soul who can actually know him truly is very, very rare. And then when you know him, you surrender to him. Okay. So that typically is the crux of this chapter. Now, one more important thing that Krishna says in this chapter, who's going to read this out for me? One minute. Mataji, who's not had a chance? Let's give someone a chance. Mataji?
Yes, Harsh Patel.
Yeah, whoever's not had a chance, we can give. And everyone will get a chance now, not a problem. But just to read this
So
out.
Harsh Patel.
Harsh Patel, go ahead, please.
Yes, sir.
Okay, can you read this out, please?
Oh, Arjuna.
This is the last key verse that we're doing, yeah, from this chapter.
Oh, Arjuna, as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, I know everything that has happened in the past. Oh, all that is happening in the present, and all that things that are yet to come. I also know all living entities, but me, no one knows.
Okay, perfect. Can you read it once again so that everyone hears it perfectly? Go ahead. Sorry, yeah. Oh, Arjuna, can you read? Okay, I'll read this once again. It's a very important verse. Oh, Arjuna, as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, I know everything that has happened in the past, all that is happening in the present, and all that is yet to come. All right. So why Krishna is saying that? Because that is one more feature of the Lord. Now, to give you an example, so you're watching a movie, all right? Suppose there's a movie, and if you go halfway in the movie theater, will you know or will you understand the movie? Usse pehle kya hua hai? Will you understand? No. But who will know? But if the director of the movie is along with you and he walks in, right? Who's made the movie? Will he know or he will not know? He will know because he's the director of the movie. That's exactly what Krishna is telling us, that I am the director. I know everything about this cosmic creation, everything that has happened in the past, everything that is happening in the present, and everything that is yet to come. Okay, so that is critical, that we need to know that he is the director. Like how we get into a movie, we'll not follow. Krishna is saying, I am the director of this entire movie. Okay, so these are the key things that Krishna is talking about in this particular chapter. Now, who's going to quickly tell me the key things that Krishna is talking about in this chapter? Dhruvisha. One or two key points, and then we're going to do some nice question answers. Everyone will get a chance in that. Okay? Yes, Dhruvisha, go ahead.
Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes.
This verse I got to know like Krishna is only the one who knows what has happened in past, what is happening in future, and also going to happen. So
Yes.
he's the only one who knows everything.
So that he talks about past, present, future. Okay. Prajwal, next, what is the other key thing that he spoke about in giving knowledge about himself? Prajwal?
Prajwal is unmuted.
Yes, sir.
Yes. What in this chapter is the key take home for you? One is Krishna knows the past, present, future. What else did you learn today, dear? Nothing comes to your mind?
No, sir.
Nothing. So
Muted,
what did you hear today? First, we heard that hearing from the right source is important. Yeah. And then Krishna talks about himself, how he's present in the form of, he's the heat in the fire, he's the fragrance in the earth, all of that. You remember what we spoke? Yes, Prajwal? Okay, no problem. I'll ask someone else so that you can
Anvi.
hear it
Anvi.
again. Yeah. Yes, Mataji.
Anvi, I have unmuted her.
Yes, Anvi, please go ahead. No, Anvi
Okay,
is not saying
she's-
anything. Shirish,
Yeah.
let's give Shirish a chance.
Yes, I've unmuted Shirish.
Yes, Shirish.
Yes, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, I think today's chapter, I think we should all do the chanting and we should
What did Krishna say? Krishna spoke about the four kind of people who come to him. Do you remember that?
yes,
Yeah, so who are the four kind of people who approach Krishna?
Prabhuji,
The distressed, someone I told you who's in trouble, someone who desires wealth, then
the
someone who's inquisitive, and someone who's looking for true knowledge. Okay, these are the four kind of people who come to Krishna. Okay, so that's the second important thing that we learned. Who are the people who approach him? And then what is the third important thing that we learned? Is the separate energies, how Krishna is present in the different energies in the material world. But everything in the material and spiritual world, he is the originator of. And like we see the pearl necklace, we only see the pearls, we don't see the thread which holds it together. That's exactly the way Krishna holds his entire cosmic manifestation perfectly. Okay, so if you just remember the pearl necklace, that itself is good enough, because that is the way Krishna is holding this entire creation together. And he's the one who knows the past, present, future, and then the four kind of people who typically approach Krishna. Okay, now the reason I'm saying this is because you all should make notes. If you make notes, then you will remember. And these are the key points that you need to know. Okay. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to get into question answer based on these 7 chapters that we have done. Okay. Now, first few are very simple. And then I will ask you all to say, who is God? We know Krishna is God. And he is a person. And we have to remember him in which form? Mishika, which form should we remember Krishna?
Prabhuji, Paramatma.
Paramatma, okay, but even better than that is the Sham Sundar form. That is the way. Paramatma is within us. Now, tomorrow is what I'm going to be. Tomorrow is when I'm going to be explaining to you the Paramatma concept. So we should typically remember him in his beautiful Sham Sundar form. All right. Okay. Now, Harshan, who are we? Harshan, loudly, who are we? Can't hear you.
Sir. Sir.
A lot of people have already put in the chat. Yes, Harshan, who are we?
We are spiritual souls.
We are spiritual souls. Yes, we are spirit souls. That's who we are. Okay. Now, next, Krishna Priya, the next one, would you want to take that? What are the 3 reasons why Krishna appears?
Prabhuji, for saving his devotees
Perfect.
and to establish dharma
Yes.
and to kill demons.
Yes. Very good. Perfect. Okay. What is Bhagavad Gita? Pratyaksha? Now, kids, if you don't even know any answer, it's okay, because we are doing it to understand it and learn it. Okay. Yes, Pratyaksha.
Unmuted her. Unmuted her.
Bhagavad Gita is the essence of what Lord says about himself and about what we do in the life.
Okay. So 2 ways I would like you to remember Bhagavad Gita. Okay. Bhagavad Gita is song of God. That's the first meaning of Bhagavad Gita. And second is Bhagavad Gita is our manual for life. Okay. That's the answer to your next question. Why do we study Bhagavad Gita? Is because it is the manual for our lives. Okay. Just remember that. Bhagavad Gita is a song of God. Song of God means Lord himself has told about himself and us, who we are and what we are here for. Okay. And it's the manual for life. Okay. Now, what are the 5 reasons Arjuna told not to fight? We've done this earlier, but who would want to answer this? Now, whoever's answered, please put your hands down so that we can give others a chance. Right? My humble request is whoever's answered, Mataji, who would you want to give a chance? Please?
Siddhant Bhatt.
Yeah, whoever's answered, please put your hands down. Siddhant Bhatt, go ahead. Whoever has spoken, please put your hands down. So we'll give others a chance.
Hello, Prabhuji.
Yes.
Prabhuji, कौन सा question?
5 reasons why Arjun said in the first chapter he doesn't want to fight. आपको याद है?
प्रभुजी मैं थोड़े पहले अभी नहीं था जब वो हो रहा था.
अच्छा, कोई बात नहीं. आपको what is yoga का याद है? What is yoga? आप वो अटेंड किए थे?
नहीं प्रभुजी.
वो भी आपने नहीं किया. चलो कोई बात नहीं. We'll give someone else a chance. जिसने अटेंड किया. माताजी, श्री चरण.
Hitansh Garg.
Okay. Yes, go ahead.
Hitansh Garg.
Can't hear him, Mataji. Then you can
No.
give someone else a chance. We'll come back to him.
Okay. Vaidehi.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Which one are
So
you
question
answering?
number 6.
Yes.
The first reason is that because he did not wanted to fight with his family members because if his one of the fighters from that side was his own Guruji, so he did not want to fight
So-
for the first one.
Yes. Okay. So what are the 5 reasons? What does it come to your mind? One is family. Okay. What else?
Second, because second, I guess I think because
Do you remember something like compassion, sin,
yes, sir.
indecision?
And he thought that the second reason he thought that if he could kill his Guru Maharaj, he thought that it could be a sin.
Yes, sin. And then I'll
The
have no
third
enjoyment. Who will I enjoy with? So the third reason was no enjoyment.
And the fourth reason was
Family traditions will go. If all the men die, family traditions will go.
yes, sir.
And
the
then there was last was indecision. He couldn't decide what's to be done. Okay. That's why please note down points because this will help you when you revise on your own. See, Bhagavad Gita is not something that we hear once and we think we'll remember. It takes years, full life. We have to keep hearing Bhagavad Gita. And if we have to keep hearing, if we make some points down, it's easier for us to remember, like how you study in an exam. All right. What do? Suppose you're doing geography. Okay. And if you're doing major rivers of India, you have to make down the points, right? That which are the perennial rivers, which are the monsoon dependent rivers, then which flow into the Arabian Sea, which flow into the Bay of Bengal, like all that you do, right? Same way, this is a manual for life. You're going to remember it all your life. You have to remember it all your life, right? So please make those points down. Okay. Next, what is yoga? Who would want to answer that? Everyone put your hand down. Only the ones who would want to answer can now go ahead. Vibhu has raised his hand. So Mataji, we can give Vibhu a chance.
Yes, I've unmuted Vibhu.
What is yoga, Vibhu?
Yoga is the connection with God.
Perfect. Lovely. That is the right answer. Which are the 4 yugas? Arushi?
Arushi.
Yes, sir. The 4 yogas are Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapar Yuga, and Kali Yuga.
Perfect. Thank you. Nivan, which yuga are we living in? Yes, Nivan, which yuga are we living in?
Sir, we are living in Kali Yuga.
Very good. Okay. Sanvi, what
Bimla
is the
Devi.
dharma in Kali Yuga? Sanvi? Yes, Sanvi, what's the dharma in Kali Yuga?
Yes, Sanvi.
Sir, chanting the Mahamantra Hare Krishna is
Lovely.
the divine Kali Yuga.
Lovely. Okay. Dimple, what is the peace formula? Sorry, typo mistake in the peace word. Forgive me for that. What is the peace formula, Dimple?
Yes, Dimple.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes.
The peace formula is the anger one, no?
Yeah. So there's, yeah, anger
Yeah,
is a part of
even
that.
I-
But how do we remember something known as a peace formula? So if you have to have peace, what do you need to do?
Prabhuji, actually, I think so. Then I have not attended class because I just learned the anger one.
Okay.
Because I'm missing many classes now.
No problem. You can always hear them on YouTube. Okay. We're going to be uploading it on YouTube. Okay.
I just
Hitansh, were you there for the peace formula? Hitansh, that was chapter 5, peace formula.
No.
Hitansh Garg.
Do you remember the peace formula?
How
How can we attain peace? Basically, how can we attain peace? Okay, forget the word peace formula. How can we attain peace?
We can attain peace while doing Harinam.
Yes. So basically, remembering that Krishna is the supreme person, he is the supreme enjoyer, the supreme controller. If we remember that and we have to surrender to him, then we will be at peace. And we discussed that if
the chant, then I wasn't able to unmute.
No problem. So if we chant, yes, that's when we will be at ease and we will remember. Okay. Now, what is the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra? Who's going to answer that? And who's going to say it aloud?
Me.
Madhurya.
Okay, go ahead.
That's me. I'll just wait till you all finish.
Sorry.
That's
Sorry,
okay.
sorry.
That's
I made
okay.
you the co-host. Sorry.
That's okay. Thanks.
Okay, give, I see Moksha's hand raised. Mataji, can we give Moksha a chance?
Yes. Moksha, you are unmuted.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Ha, Hare Krishna. Can we hear the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra from you?
It's Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Hare.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Okay. And the Panchatattva mantra, who's going to tell us?
Prabhuji, can I?
Yes, please go ahead.
Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda.
Very good. Thank you so much. Okay. Why should we chant Hare Krishna? Who's going to answer that? Mataji, you can take a call. Priya
Wait.
Kumar. I can see Priya Kumar. Would you want to try that? I don't see. So that more and more kids participate. The ones who haven't, taken part, I would really request you all, please take part and whatever you want to say, you can. Even if you don't know an answer, it doesn't matter.
Rishika.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, we should chant Hare Krishna so that we can attain enlightenment.
We can be enlightened, yes. Some more reasons. Someone else wants to say some more reasons. Let's give someone else a chance so that some more reasons.
Arav Mistry. No. Bimla
Okay.
Devi. I don't know if that's her real name. Bimla Devi.
Yes. To attend liberation.
To get liberated. Okay, fine. But in the material world, the other reasons that we chant, we are at peace. All right, we're enlightened. Right. So basically, that's what it helps us in. Okay. The last question for the day, and then we'll do the shloka for the day. So, what does the word Krishna mean? Who's going to want to try and answer that?
Keshto.
Yes, that's the last question for the day.
I've unmuted him.
Okay. Go ahead, dear. Naman, you didn't get a chance today, but you got it some other day. You'll get another chance another day. Okay, Naman, I'm seeing your message. Yes, Keshto, go ahead, please.
To cleanse ourselves.
No. What does the word Krishna mean? That's your question.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Okay, what else? Krishna means, the word Krishna means what?
All attractive.
All attractive. Yes. Thank you so much. So Krishna has many names. All right. So I'm going to give you all a little homework. You all like homework. I know your children like homework. So each one of you all just learn 10 names of Krishna with their meanings. Like one is Krishna, the all attractive. Just learn 10 names with the meaning. And maybe one of these days we will have a few of you all tell us those 10. And he has hundreds and thousands of names. Any 10 with the meaning. Okay. Thank you so much. Now over to you, Mataji. You all are going to learn a shloka today. Right. And that Mataji is going to take over. Mataji, over to you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Vishal Prabhu. Hare Krishna, everyone. And from what I understand is you all did the 7th chapter today of the Bhagavad Gita. Is that correct?
Absolutely right, Mataji.
Superb. So let's take a verse from the 7th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita and let us learn. So now in the next 10 minutes, no one student is going to say the shloka. All the students are going to say the shloka. As much enthusiasm as you show in answering the questions, please remember Lord Krishna is right there next to you, hearing the shlokas that you are going to be learning now. Okay, so please do sing along with the same enthusiasm so that you can try to understand this verse. I'm going to share the screen right now. This is chapter 7. Why can't I share? It's not opening up. Sorry, just give me a minute.
You're not able to share, Mataji?
No.
1 minute. Mataji, can we make Mataji the host or the co-host so that it's easier for her?
They've made me the co-host, but I'm not able to share.
Oh. Which is the
Can you share the picture on our WhatsApp group?
Mataji, which is the shloka?
Okay, can you pull it out? 7.7.
7.7. No, I didn't cover that today.
Which one have you covered? I'll teach that one.
Mataji, I did 7.8 you can do, or 7.6 you can do. I'm the origin, that one. 1 minute. 7.6 you can do.
I have 3, I have 4, I have 7. But mine is not sharing. It's not coming up in the
Okay,
share.
1 minute. So let me just see the ones that I have done today. So you can take one of those.
Pull out the one you've done. I'll do that.
Yes, Mataji. Just a second. Give me a minute.
Yeah.
This
Bhumi
I haven't kept the Sanskrit. 1 minute, Mataji.
Can I just do it from? This one is fine. 7.3 is fine.
Yeah, because hardly one knows me in truth. This is a great.
Yeah. Let's do that.
Yes.
Fine. Okay. So this is a very rare shloka. That means we're going to talk about how rare each devotee is of Lord Krishna. You know, we all want to be very rare. We want to be very distinct. We want to be very hatke, very alag, no? So in this shloka, we learn how to be very hatke. Okay? So can you all see the screen on the verse on the screen? Sabke haath niche kar do. All hands down. Everyone's mouth has to now repeat after me. Manushyanam. Can you say that? Manushyanam. 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 सब बोल रहे ना, जो मनुष्य है वो बोलेंगे. Okay? Chalo. Manushyanam. Very good. I can see all the mouths moving. All the cameras are off. I can still see you. Okay? Chalo. Bolo. Manushyanam. Sahasreshu. Sahasreshu. Repeat after me. Sahasreshu. Manushyanam Sahasreshu. Manushyanam Sahasreshu. Very good. Manushyanam Sahasreshu. Next line. Kaschid Kaschid, Kaschid, Yatati, 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 Siddhaye, Siddhaye. Kaschid Yatati Siddhaye. Kaschid Yatati Siddhaye. Okay, close your eyes and try. Repeat after me. Manushyanam. Your turn. Sahasreshu Kaschid Yatati Siddhaye. And now the tune is like this. Manushyanam sahasreshu kaschid yatati siddhaye. Now the third line. Yatatam, yatatam, yatatam. You remember the dash on the A becomes A, okay? Yatatam api siddhanam, api siddhanam, api siddhanam, yatatam api siddhanam. Okay, all three lines let's do. Manushyanam sahasreshu kaschid yatati siddhaye yatatam api siddhanam. The fourth line. Kaschin, kaschin, mam, kaschin mam, veti, kaschin mam veti, tattvataha, tattvataha, kaschin mam veti, tattvataha. Okay? Manushyanam sahasreshu kaschid yatati siddhaye yatatam api siddhanam kaschin mam veti tattvataha. Once more, everyone together. Manushyanam sahasreshu kaschid yatati siddhaye yatatam api siddhanam kaschin mam veti tattvataha. One last time, everyone. Manushyanam sahasreshu kaschid yatati siddhaye yatatam api siddhanam kaschin mam veti tattvataha. And iska matlab kya? What does it mean? Out of many thousands amongst men, sahasreshu, thousands and thousands of manushya, manushyanam sahasreshu, one may endeavor for perfection. One may try to make his human life successful and perfect. And of those who have achieved perfection, I mean, out of lakhs and lakhs and millions and lakhs, and of those who have achieved perfection, hardly one knows me in truth. Such a rare thing it is to be a devotee of the Lord and to know Lord Krishna and to love Lord Krishna, because who's the me in this shloka? It's Lord Krishna, right? So that is what Krishna is telling Arjun. Arjun, it is not very easy. It's not a very common thing. It's not a very, very faltu or very easily attainable, or you go to the shop and buy ice cream. Not so easy. You have to be very, very rare to have the Lord as your master, as you as the servant, you as the lover of the Lord. So when you follow this teaching of Bhagavad Gita, we are on the path, on the journey that will lead us to being one of the most rare devotees of the Lord. Okay? So out of many thousands and thousands among men, don't think everybody around you is going to take up to this path. Out of many, many thousands among men, one may endeavor for perfection. Manushyanam sahasreshu kaschid yatati siddhaye. Siddhaye is perfection. One may start to be on this path. Yatatam api siddhanam. Out of so many of such people who have tried to become perfect, hardly one, kaschin mam veti tattvata, hardly one knows me in truth. So what you all are aiming for is a very, very rare diamond. Okay? Pieces of glass are very, very commonly found, but a diamond is very rare. And I really hope all you children will become those rare, beautiful souls who give their life to Krishna. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna, everyone. Thank you, Vishal
Thank you,
Prabhu.
Mataji. And remember, kids, we've just begun the marathon, all right? So we have, and if we have to be the winner in the marathon, what we need is practice, perseverance, determination, and most important, surrender. All right. And you all know what needs to be done, what not should not be done. All right. The right way of getting the knowledge is from a guru. And remember, we discussed today the 4 regulative principles that you have to always remember in mind as you grow up that you're not going to do. And that's how y'all are all going to land up being marathon winners. All right. So keep that in mind. Keep chanting and remembering the Lord. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. Bolo Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. And we meet tomorrow, same time, 5 o'clock for the next chapter. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.